So the one thing that I wanted to go over really quickly is just how easy it is to configure these integrations. So, like I said before, you basically have a window now into all the integrations that are available to you and your business. The configuration of these integrations is much simpler now. With the advent of the APIs and authorization codes and API keys, it's much simpler to actually set these things up. We have a lot of this detailed in our manual as well if you have questions. But I think this process can be followed by anyone at your business in most cases. So I'll go through. This is the integration marketplace that we have available to us in the Ion application. I'll type in Duro, which is the integration that we were looking at before. So it should bring me to that familiar page. When I'm actually wanting to go set this thing up, I can, in your application, it'll say configure, but since I've already set this up, I'll just show you, what it looks like to reconfigure. So I'll press next. And this is actually where you set up, the values that you get from your system for the actual connections. So I think, you know, the Ion API keys can be pulled directly from our API. So with a simple query made to your own API, you can create the API keys and then pull those directly into this connection. So I just copy and pasted those from a query that I had earlier. You set up the environment that you're working in. You do pretty much the same thing. Actually, Duro makes it a little bit simpler. You go over to the Duro application. You can go to your account settings and then to your integrations, and then you press Get API key. You can copy and paste that now into the integration here in Ion. So it's a lot of just copying and pasting up to this point. There is one step where you actually have to go and configure the webhook that I talked about before. And it's as simple as putting in the URL for the particular integration that you're setting up, which actually is really easy to pull, and I'll show you that in a second. Some of the other configuration that's important is, setting up your revision schemes between the two systems so that they know what types of revisions to push when they're creating new parts. And then here's a really key component as well for the configuration. We now have the ability to push over custom attributes and the native attributes between the two systems. So all you have to do is make sure you know the name of the attribute in each system, right? If I'm looking in Duro, for example, the part number, the component part number is referenced by CPN. In Ion, this is referenced by part number, right? There's a little bit of syntax here, but you can get these values fairly easily, both through the API and in the manual, it calls out a lot of these as well. So these are pre-configured, so you won't have to mess with the native attributes too much. But say you have, some cost codes or some, account-related configuration, minimum inventories, one of the custom attributes that we have or is important to us is sort of the weight of that part. You can set these custom attributes up both on the Duro side and on the Ion side through your organization settings very easily, and then you map them between the two systems. So the left side is the Ion name, the right side would be the name of that particular attribute in Duro. So the power here is really, you can configure this and reconfigure this as many times as you want, especially with, as quickly as our businesses are changing. You often have new attributes that you want to pull over into, in between the systems. So all I have to do is go in and add a new value, type in the name on one side and the other, and then press finish. And now the integration is configured. And all you have to do is test that, the nuts or that the bits and bytes are pushing over. So that's really the power in my eyes of having it directly within the application.